by essence, everything about your existence is already supernatural. Everything about our lives is supernatural. I mean, how more supernatural could it get than being a conscious living entity dwelling on a rock that revolves, that orbits a star in space in the middle of nowhere? That, if you ask me, that's freaking supernatural. But it can actually get way more supernatural if you wanted to. And that happens by choosing not to function within biological laws. Just like all of the stories, about, just like the stories we hear about gurus sitting in meditation for days on end, for over 10 days, for over sometimes even 20 days, without needing food, without needing water, without needing to move, to sleep. That's defying all sorts of laws. That's defying the typical that we're aware of. That goes beyond time. So what that begs the question, what is happening here? Does time come to a halt when they go into those deep meditative states? Does their timeline stops at that point as they leave, as they function from a place beyond their biology and, become aware, become conscious in a different dimension? What is happening here? And how do you not function according to your biological laws? That's how you become supernatural. And that's where you are able to create magic. That's where you are able to create miracles as energy creating matter. You can create anything in this reality, just like the universe, just like the planets, the stars, the galaxies, the universe or universes were created as energy creating matter. They were not matter creating matter. It was simply all the starting point from a pure conscious energy source. And that gave birth to everything that you know of in this existence. So that tells you that this is how you actually should be creating. It's not that you should, struggle so much and put all that effort and fight and force yourself and go against all odds as matter creating matter. That's going to lead to the rise of many struggles and more suffering on your journey. That's going to lead to blockages, to obstacles, but what if you can function from a place beyond all obstacles, from a place that bypasses all obstacles and all traumas and all trapped, blockages within your body? And that's how you become supernatural. You stop reacting based on your normal biological responses. So if, for example, and it's a gradual process, it does not happen in a day, but it happens. Just in my last video, I was talking before last video, I was talking about the law of entropy, which is, which comes to a halt at an absolute zero. The law of entropy basically dictates that against time, the universe is moving towards less and less order. So it's moving towards chaos. So anything, if you break a glass, you cannot repair it. If a light bulb gets dimmer over time, you cannot make it better. You have to replace it. Any energy, basically, it indicates that any usable energy within an isolated system deteriorates over time. And that's what happens even within our human bodies, even with our minds, even with our essence. That's what everyone is normally functioning by as a human being. But it comes to a halt, this law of entropy. It only stops, it cannot be reversed, but it can stop at the absolute zero, the temperature of absolute zero, which is 0 degrees Kelvin. And I invited you in that video to adopt that absolute zero within your body. And that's one way to, bypass universal laws, bypass human laws, biological laws. And here, simply to overcome, to not choose to react based on your biological laws, or to not function within your biological laws, or to not act based on your biology. What it means is that if you're normally doing something, if you react to something in a specific way, you choose to not to react to it in that way. And it happens, like I was saying, ever so gradually, bit by bit. That's just one thing. Something maddens you, something angers you throughout your day. You choose to not react to it. Not even, you can choose to consciously respond or to not respond whatsoever, as if it's not happening. That what that is doing is that it trains your neurological pathways to a different set of pathways. It tells, every time your neurology is trying to hit a pathway based on your biological adaptation, your biological laws, by the way it differs from one person to the other, it differs from you and me and each and everyone else. And so if your adaptation is leading your neurological pathways to take a specific pathway whenever a trigger happens in your external reality, and you choose not to, then one time it's gonna say something is off, and then the next time it wants to take that pathway but you do not act upon it, then it thinks something is really wrong, and then it tries to trigger you even further. It could even create external things, external circumstances and events that trigger you. Just like if you sit idle for a very long time, your brain is gonna send signals to cause itchiness in places over your body to confirm whether you're sleeping or not. Are you asleep? And that happens to you if you meditate all the time. It happens to me all the time. When you start meditating and you stop moving whatsoever for like the first few minutes, you start getting, you want to scratch your nose, you want to scratch your head, you want to scratch wherever, and that's because your body is trying to confirm whether you're sleeping or not. Is that person awake? Why are they not moving? Why are they not thinking my thoughts? Why are they not acting upon my impulses? Why are they not reacting to my triggers? Those are all things that if you keep doing them, you become more and more supernatural by time, until you stop functioning based on them whatsoever. Just like the gurus who sit days, 10 and 20 days in meditation without eating, without sleeping, without moving, without drinking. And just like even there's another interesting group of people called Breatharians, I think, I believe. I researched into that a long while ago, so I don't really remember. But they don't survive on food or water. They don't need food or water. They found a way to use photosynthesis in their favor, and they rather consume their own waste to a degree. You better get into that on your own self. I don't want to get deeper into that, but yeah. And they survive and they're very healthy. So that's another thing that defies biological laws. But what happens is that the more you defy those triggers and impulses that comes from your deep programming, deep biological programming, deep mental programming, the more you keep defying all of those impulses that has to do with your biology, whether emotional, mental, or physical, the more your body is gonna be aware, the more you're gonna detach and disconnect from your ego and connect to something that's so much higher, to something that functions from a different plane, from a different dimension, and that's your true self, and that's who you truly are. There's when you die or before you become alive, in this 3D reality, you were not functioning based on time, you were not getting sick, you were not getting mad or angry, you were not living in contrast. It was all one. It was all happening for you. It was all a continuum. There was no reflections, there was no poses, there was no recreations, there was no re-thoughts and rethinking and feeling bad or feeling sad or feeling happy or feeling. It's all just a continuous process of being, of feeling, of being everything, of feeling everything. And that's what you tune in, and in that process, whatever you want, you create. Whatever you think, you manifest. Whatever you wish, you're able to create it instantly. And so the closer you get to that aspect of yourself, your body wanna get up and move. Your body is telling you, I feel so bad. Let's tend to our coping mechanisms. If you act as there's nothing happening, no, I'm not gonna act. The more you feed into your coping mechanisms, the more you confirm to your body, to your energy, to your subconscious, that I am in fact feeling bad, that I am in fact, my life is negative, that my life is acting against me, and that I need something to cope. But the more you ignore it, the more your body is gonna feel threatened. Why they're not reacting to me? Why are they not reacting to their natural responses, to their natural reactive state? Why are they not buying into what's happening externally? And then it's gonna become more and more aware that you are more than the ego, and it's gonna yield to it eventually. At first it can challenge you and threaten you by, causing more and more of those triggers, causing you to remember all of the bad things, remember, your regrets, remember what you've missed on, remember what terrorized you, what traumatized you. It's gonna start, playing all of those cards against you, because it wants you to fall back into your familiar self so badly. But the more you deny it, the more it yields to who you are, to who you truly are, to who you're becoming in this 3D as well, not just in other dimensions, in higher dimensions, but even as a living human being. You can tune in, tap into that kind of frequency and create whatever you want, do whatever you want, be whomever you want, so effortlessly and so fluently, without having to force and having to struggle. But you have to force yourself at first. You have to train yourself. You have to what is it called, to go against this seduction by the ego, to fall back into your old habits and to relapse to your familiar self. You have to train yourself to not go with that, because this is what you typically are. This is the path you've been taking for all of your life, for the whole of your life. And if you keep taking the same path, you're gonna keep having the same external circumstances. You're gonna keep creating the same experiences. You're gonna have to keep creating the same results. It's madness. That's by Einstein, who said that it is madness, the definition of madness. Don't quote me on this, I'm just paraphrasing it here, but madness is, or insanity is, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, And so if that's your typical response, that I'm not gonna, when something is happening, that your body normally reacts in this way or in that way, or it feels bad, or you feel bad, try to not feel bad. If your body wants to feel bad, start thinking about something that makes you feel very, very good. If your body wanna, if you feel like, you need to get up and go get that glass of, do your cup of coffee, make your morning cup of coffee, go eat junk, go. If the moment you sit in meditation, or you sit in silence and you sit simply still without doing anything, without stimulating yourself, your body starts to getting really worked up, and it wants to move, it wants to do this, or it wants to do that, it wants you to talk to that person. What if you hang out? What if you go to that place? Just the more you do not act upon those things, the more you're actually becoming a free sovereign being. The more you are tuning in and getting closer and closer to your higher self, to who you truly are, functioning from higher dimensions that are not defined by time, that are not defined by any universal or human laws. And that's the state in which you can tune in. The best way you can get to that is staying in those deep state of meditations for very long times, and choosing to not act upon any of your impulses. You want to check your phone, you want to get on social media, you want to check the news, you want to watch a movie, you want to watch a series, you want to do this and that. Don't do any of this. But more importantly is the little things, is what I noticed. The more I don't, if something is triggering me and I want to swear or curse or get mad or just feel bad about it, and I go like, nah, not today. No, it's very neutral. This is very unbothering to me. Even if it's lying to myself at first, it's part of the game. It's not delusional. You're just choosing to be the version of yourself that you are in the future. Because just like who you are today, you are completely a different person, 5 years from now or 10 years from today. You are a completely different person. And if at that time you chose to live as who you are today, you would have become who you are today, 10 years ago. If you chose to tune into that frequency of your future aspect, it's not delusional. You just know that you're gonna be someone, within, a year or a few days, and you can choose to live through that version. Think, feel, and act through that version, and you can become it instantly. You don't have to wait for a year. You don't have to wait for 10 years or 5 years or however long. And so one best way is to meditate, and take that state of meditation with you throughout your entire day. Because in meditations, you train yourself, you learn to not act upon your impulses, to not act upon anything. You just simply be in silence. And that develops you. That it's more about, meditation is more than just that, but that's a very important aspect of it. And if you take with you throughout your day, if you project that same self throughout your entire day, you're gonna become someone completely different. You're gonna become supernatural, because you're not reacting to your biology whatsoever. You're not reacting to your natural typical response. Your neurological stimulus are leading you to specific pathways, and you're not firing those neurological pathways. So you're shifting, you're transforming your whole being by not reacting to your natural stimulus or to your natural triggers that you have been doing so for your whole life. If some specific person is known to trigger you in a specific way, don't let it be that way. And if that thing is triggering you in a specific way, don't let it be that way. If you need to feel like, I need to drink, I need to go for that, I need to play video game because I need to escape, I need to avoid, say to yourself, there's nothing to avoid. This is okay. This is not bothering to me at all. I don't need to avoid. I don't need to cope with anything. The more you do that, it's not gonna be, a very smooth path. It's not gonna be a smooth journey. It's not gonna happen in one day or in a few days. But the more you do that, the more you're actually defying the ego and connecting to your higher self, to your true self, and you start functioning from a different lane, from a different dimension in which you could be, do, have, whatever, anything, anyone you want to be. Thank you so much for tuning into another video by AF's Conscious Frequency. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it.